Okay. So hello, everyone watching this video. My name is Irina, and I'm the founder of a company called Med Spa Scaler. What we do is we work with spas, doctors, and med spas, and we help them stand out, get new clients, and help them grow. So whether you are at the very beginning, you just open your doors and you're looking for clients, and you don't know what to begin with and to use Groupon or social media or whatnot, we are here for you. Or if you're already established and you're looking to hire more staff and expand and grow, we can also help with that as well. Our bread and butter is Meta ads and Google ads, but we also help with lead generation and nurturing. We do some email marketing, social media, and we help with the client retention. And today I am very excited to introduce Laurie Fries. Laurie Fries has been in sales for over 25 years, and she's been in the spa industry for about 10 years now. And today, together, we're going to talk about memberships, how to sell more memberships. Laurie, do you have anything to add?
No, that just about covers it. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with some stats, some very interesting stats about membership. So first things first, practices that incentivize their staff to sell more memberships sell 600% more memberships. And then the other thing I found interesting is the 2025 this year's top selling memberships, and they are weight loss, and this is based on revenue generated. So weight loss is the top selling membership. Based on patient satisfaction and retention, beauty bank memberships are doing great. And based on enrollment, which is not surprising because Tox is so popular, Tox memberships are the most popular based on enrollment. Now, the first question I have for you, Laurie, is what are the different types of memberships available? For someone looking to offer memberships, where do they begin?
So there's two types of memberships. I definitely have one that's my favorite, but one is where they pay. Both of them they pay every month, but one is they generally get a huge discount on a couple different services of their choice. And this is called basically a credit-based membership. So they're paying every month to be able to have the privilege of having a discount. The spas that I work at, generally the full price might be 129 per service, but when they're a member, maybe they're getting that for $79. And it's taken out of their credit card or their bank account every month, and then they get a credit so that they can come every month and get that service or a choice of different services for that price. And the great thing is that price could cover several services, so they can, as long as you're a member, whatever service that they choose, they get that discount on that service. So let's pretend they come in for 5 different services that month. They're going to get that member price, that discount price for every single service. The other one is a tier-based membership, which are not as popular because they are paying every month, but really all they're getting is percentage discounts on things. This is really great for high-end med spas that are selling semi-glutide, weight loss treatments, toxins, and or toxins, I should say, Botox, Dysport, all that kind of stuff, because those are very expensive. And so to be able to pay every month to be able to get those discounts on those high-end products is very appealing to people. But there's some that a med spa can offer some really great things like, facials and hyperfacials and things that are on the lower end. But then also when they're a member, they get discounts too on the higher end things. So, but it's really based on a spa would choose based on what they offer. So again, it can be that huge discount on a few items, or it can be percentage discounts on the high ticket items, and lots of spas combine both.
Okay, that's
Mhm,
very interesting.
mhm.
Um, Now a question I see a lot, and when I worked with a few clients, so my side was really promoting memberships, but I know the discussion was, and they worked on putting the packages together, is how do you price them? How do you package them and how do you price them? And I know this is a huge topic of conversation,
Yeah,
so we can probably have a separate session on. So just give us a few ideas of how to price and package memberships.
yeah. So this is something that you're going to want to really sit down with your business partner, your accountant, whatever, to really go over to make sure that you're offering
Mhm.
great discounts without losing money.
Mm,
So the sweet spot is to make sure that the discount is so wonderful that people see the value in having a monthly withdrawal taken out of their credit card every month to be able to get that discount. But you don't want it so great that you're losing money. So you've
right.
got to find the sweet spot. And the sweet spot is generally looking at all the spas around you in the general vicinity where most of your customers might be going to,
Hmm.
and figuring out the average cost of, a few of those items on your menu, and then figuring out, okay, so we want to be competitive,
Right.
don't want anyone to go anywhere else. We don't want them to go to the spa down the street. Um, and so, and then offering such an incentive that people go, you know what, it's worth it for me to have that membership because I'm going to really save a lot of money. From my personal experience, um, a discount, anything less than $50. I've been to spas where the discount was only $40.
It's not worth it, right? That's how I usually see it too. If it's
Mm-hmm.
only, why would I go to you when I could go pay just a little more, but kind of have a top spa experience? Yeah.
Exactly. So we found the sweet spot for the starting discount was $50.
Okay.
So again, you might need to if you want to start a membership program, you might want to up your prices a little bit so that when you offer that member price, then you're still making money. But again, I definitely have some, well, we'll talk later, but I definitely have some membership options that people can look at. And it's more like templates that they could put in, like, okay, yeah, I could put that in, I could put that in, I can
Oh,
put
I
that.
like that. I'm sure,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm sure
yeah,
this is talking
I
about
looked
the,
at several different med spa menus, and so I kind of looked at what's kind of going around in the country as far as prices and then things they can offer. But again, it's an individual thing. I would never say somebody should look at it and then copy and paste it into a menu.
right, exactly. One thing I'd like to add here, because you mentioned value, and I've looked at memberships and we recently launched with some clients. One thing I liked is really showing the value they're getting. So you're not just having the discounts there, but this is how much you're saving per year. So if you're staying with us, and I know some med spas will require actually a minimum of 6 months or 12 months commitment, right? But showing that actual value they're getting if they're enrolling in the membership, I think it's huge when it comes to making that decision on whether to join or not.
Yeah, and the big seller for every spa membership spa I've ever worked at, the credits rolling over is the biggest incentive that you can offer. Because when people get busy, they go away for the summer, they're going on vacation, maybe they're going through a stressful time, they just cannot make it. Knowing that those credits are rolling over and building value means so much to them. And it's a huge selling point knowing that when they finally can get away and get back to the spa, they know, let's say they paid in 3 months worth. Let's pretend the membership, it's kind of on a little bit of the low end, but let's say their membership is $99 a month. So they've got $300 worth of money to spend when they get to the spa. So depending on what services someone offers, that could be, you know, 2 or 3 services and maybe some upgrades. So that's, to me, if somebody wants to start a membership program, that is something that they probably want to build into the membership.
Well, the other thing we've done, I've seen recently with one of our clients, because they're including a facial, it's a tier-based membership and they have a facial included. The other cool thing we did is allowing people to gift that facial. So if they want to skip a month or 2 months, they can actually gift it to a friend or a family
Yes.
member, or so they don't lose, so it doesn't look like they're losing money or they're losing that service.
Yeah, and that along that line, and then again, this is later in the presentation, but I actually have a membership agreement that is so user friendly that unless somebody was like, nope, I'm not doing membership, no way, no how, I'm just not doing it. Most of the time, the membership agreement is so user friendly that a lot of people are like, well, yeah, duh, of course I'm going to go for that. I'm going to save money. But one of the things in the membership agreement is that they can transfer up to 3 credits a year, or it can even make it 6, whatever you want. It's in my experience, though, you don't want to allow them to transfer too many, because then what happens is when you try to sell that, let's pretend a friend or family member gets that credit. Well, obviously you want them to buy the membership.
That's a
So
good point, though.
if they get
So
too
you
many credits, they're going to go, well, I don't really need to get a membership because I already, Sally here, she gives me all her
That's a
credits.
really good point. So you should cap it, right? You should cap it at a certain amount or number or whatever that looks
Right.
like.
Yeah. So I find again, three credits transferred a year is nice, because again, they get to taste the offerings of your spa and all the great things that you have for them. But at the same time, three is not quite enough for them. If so, hopefully they'll want to come back.
Yeah, you don't want to have 10 people on one membership, right?
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
So how frequently we were talking about, members receiving the benefit, their benefits, how frequently should members receive the services or use their benefits?
We recommend that they come in once a month. And again, when someone is selling the membership, we're gonna say, we'd love to see you once a month. You're gonna get that facial, or you're gonna get this or that, whatever is on your menu. This is what you're gonna get for your monthly prepaid service. So we'd love to see you in a month. The nice thing too is and this is in my program, that when um, the best way to sell it is to get them scheduled right away. So when they come out of their next service, or even before they go into their service, is say, hey, Cindy, can we get you rescheduled with your next service? The reason is our esthetician, Debbie, she's super busy. She's just really busy. And we want to get you scheduled. And so once they're on the schedule, it kind of gets them into the routine. But yeah, monthly is the gold standard. But there are people that sometimes that membership is piling up credits for 3, 4, 6 months. Mhm.
And they'll eventually, yeah, cancel because they don't see the benefits, of course.
Yeah, and then it's not. I don't think it's in my program, but it's definitely something that I recommend that once you see 3 credits on the book for them, that you call them and say,
Oh, that's a really good
yeah,
tip.
yeah, hey Debbie, or a text message. I find this is me. A phone call and a text work amazing. Some people love the phone and some people love text, but I find both is amazing. But a phone call or a text, hey, Debbie, I'm not sure if you realize, but you have 3 credits built up with us. Would you like us to get you on the schedule so we can get you in for those wonderful services?
So active, yeah, active follow-up. I really like that.
Right. The reason for follow-up is not only are you going to get some appointments on your schedule, but also if you allow too many credits to pass before you call, I would say at 4 or more, maybe 5 or more, if they realize that they've paid out 5 months and have not gone in, you know what they're
Oh
going to
yeah,
do?
we know what's coming.
They're going to say, you know what, I'm not using it. Can we go ahead and terminate?
Yeah.
So three, again, this is just from personal experience. Three, they're not thinking I should cancel. They're thinking, oh, I really need to get in there. I haven't been in for a while. But if you let too many pile up, then I'm telling you, 75% of the time when you called them, they said, you know what, why don't you go ahead and cancel?
And obviously retention, one thing is launching, but then accruing new members and retaining them is obviously a huge part of being successful with memberships, right?
Yes, for
Um,
sure.
Now this is a good one, and I feel like I'm sure a lot of people struggle a little bit with this one. How do you balance profitability with offering value to members? Because obviously, on one hand, you want to be profitable when you sell them, but then on the other end, you have the consumer, the client who wants to see value to make
Yeah, so what you
your
want to do
money.
is you want to make sure that you're offering things in the membership that really don't cost anything, but the guest feels like you're giving away everything. So the great thing is members should always get discounts on retail products. And so that's something, again, you're going to look at your bottom line. You're going to discuss with your business partner with your accountant. What can I give away in the membership without, and I still make money? Another great one is birthday specials. So on their birthday, you could do $50 off, whatever it is. It could be Dysport, it could be, something with a weight loss injection. It could be a B12 shot.
Mhm.
It could be a free eyebrow wax. So those do not cost a lot of money. But they're giving so much value to somebody for that membership. And then of course, um, have that birthday in the software so that when have it up be a pop-up or whatever, so that when the birthday is coming, an associate could call, hey, Debbie, I saw that your birthday's coming up. We just wanted to make sure you get in for that free vitamin B12 shot. It only comes around once a year, so whatever it is. And then a lot of spas, sometimes, like, let's pretend a lot of services have an aromatherapy element to them. They can have a free aromatherapy with any service. So, if somebody's doing massages, aromatherapy is nothing. Or sometimes it can be that they just have it in the room for them. So it might not be something that's regularly in the treatment room, but for members, it's always
The other
something
one
like
I would
that.
like to add is events, having member-focused events. I was just talking to a client the other day. I was saying it could be something as simple as sometimes a yoga class that you organize with a yoga instructor, or I've heard other companies do movie nights. There's so many different creative ideas you have, and that's kind of another way to show value and just really make members feel special.
Really, is the sky is the limit as far
Yeah.
as that goes. Whatever your budget is, and however you want to do that, and it doesn't always have to be treatments. It can be, a Starbucks gift card or something, you know?
Can I add something that
Yeah.
just happened at the spa that I go to? I'm in a Pilates membership program, but one thing they do with their members, I've never been able to take advantage of it because I work on Saturdays, but they have once a month they hike a different mountain together. So, they have people sign up so they know how many coming, and then they go to a mountain and do a mountain hike together. And I've never been able to participate, but I thought, well, that's kind of nice. It's free. And it gets them to get exercise because we are in a Pilates studio. And so people are all about fitness.
Yeah.
And I thought that was
That's
really
a Yeah. And it helps create community, it helps build community, and it helps obviously, helps make friendships for the ones coming to the hike, but then it builds a community for them since
cool. And
people
they would
come.
say, like, we're all going to meet at the Pilates studio at such and such time, and make sure you bring your water, your snacks, and we're all going to go hike such and such mountain. I thought it's really cool. And it didn't cost them anything.
Yeah, there's a lot of creative ways, right, to add value. It doesn't have to
Yeah,
be all
yeah.
money.
And the one thing like when I made up the membership agreement, and again, the membership agreement was based on lots of different membership agreements I've seen in spas that I work at. So I took the best of all of them and combined them in one membership agreement. But is to have an enrollment fee. And anyone that's in the business knows an enrollment fee has no other value than to just put money into the owner's pocket.
Right.
Mm.
Sometimes people say, well, what's the enrollment fee? Oh, it's admin fees. It's not admin fees. It's literally going into the owner's pocket or the business. But that is free money if a person is willing to pay that enrollment fee. It's free money that you could put aside in your business account for all
For
those
the,
fun things
yeah,
to
that's
do
that
for
is
your
a good
members.
idea.
And one a great thing to do is when someone's coming out with new products is have a member night where they get to have a free facial based on all the new products, whatever. So, but again, and then I always say, make sure you're serving food, you know.
Oh yeah, if you're gonna do an evening, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, make sure you're serving food. But the one of the owners that I worked for, he put it in the coffers, and all the top uh, people in the company, he treated them to a 3-day trip to Mexico. That's what he did with it, with the enrollment fees.
Oh, that's really nice. That's a
Hmm.
really nice bonus for them.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and I was the recipient of that several times.
Oh, that's why you loved it so much because
That's why I loved it. And he said,
you're
and
on
he
the
told
receiving
everyone,
end.
yeah, and he said, if you want to waive the enrollment fee to get the sale, that's fine. Whatever you have to do to get the sale, but he says, I want you to know that the money from that enrollment fee, it is going to pay for it. All expense paid trip to Mexico for all my top performers, and you probably want to be one of them, right? So you probably don't want to waive that enrollment fee too many times.
You mentioned earlier contracts, I think you
Mhm.
said, and which brings me into my next question about the legality of things. So what are some
Mhm.
legal and operational things you should have in place, such as contracts, terms, cancellations? What should you have in place for memberships?
Yeah, so basically, again, we'll talk about at the end of the program, but I did have come up with a membership agreement that is pretty watertight. Now, that does not mean that people are not going to try to get out of the contract. They're going to ask for things that are not in the contract. But um, so that's part of my training is really going over the membership contract because I've seen before I was a manager, I was working side by side with fellow sales associates. I saw some really shady things that really bothered me. I could tell that the person did not know what they were signing up for, and they did not really understand the
Which could
terms
be
of the
really
contract.
bad for the business because you don't want to have a disgruntled customer later on
Exactly.
because he didn't know what he was signing up for and it comes as a surprise.
Yeah, so the most important thing is and in fact when I was a manager and I saw and heard, sometimes I'd be in my office and I would hear a sale going on. I'm like, they're not doing that right. But you're going over the contract while they're signing it, and then after they sign it, then you're sending it to their email. And then I always had a welcome packet, and in my welcome packet, they were pre-packaged.
Yeah.
So in the welcome packet was a copy of the contract. It wasn't the signed contract. It was just, I would say, and so, welcome to this, being a member of our spa. We're so excited to have you as a member. Here's your welcome packet. Inside is a copy of that membership contract. I'm going to send the signed one to your email, but this is so that if you think maybe I missed something, you could read it over. But basically, the main thing is there's in the contract is it is your responsibility to come in for your services for your prepaid services. So if you forget about your membership or you forget to use them, there are no refunds and you cannot take them back in gift cards. But after they cancel, they do have 6 months to use any of those credits.
Oh,
So
I like adding that because then they're still getting their money's worth in a way. So it's not a waste. And yeah,
no, yeah, and
it
yeah, and
helps
they're
with
even
customer satisfaction.
yeah, and they're even welcome to gift them also if they can't, because we've had I remember sometimes people were moving and they're like, well, I don't know what to do. And I said, you have friends and family still here in the area? Yeah, I said, give away your credits because they're going to expire. And the credits will also expire when they're, let's say they, canceled in December, their credits expire in June. I said, so if you give them out to your friends and family, make sure they know they do expire in June also.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but then they're signing in several different locations on the contract. So if they would come back to sue, I'm going to tell you, it didn't happen that often.
Yeah, I would
It
expect.
just didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably need a lot more money to sue a company for that than you'd make out of those.
Yeah, I mean, I went over the contract so much. I'd say, John, I just want to let you know. So here's what you're signing to. And, we're not going to keep calling you to remind you about your membership. We're not going to keep calling you to remind you that you have credits to use. That is your responsibility. And, if you cancel, you will have 6 months to use all those credits. We do not give refunds and gift cards. We do not refund back to your credit card. So does that make sense? Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, go ahead and sign there, Donna. Okay.
Yeah, I guess it's good to get that also. I mean, you get it in written, but it's good to get that verbal confirmation as well, right? Because that means they heard you.
Correct.
Not many people read contracts, obviously, so
Correct.
especially
Yeah.
after you sign them.
Right. And then, so in many spas, I would say the attrition rate is how many people are canceling after you've sold. So, the people that I sold to, I only had a 10% attrition rate. So
So
because
what's the average? Do you happen to know off the top of your mind what's the average rate for attrition?
I would say probably, I know it's really bad, right now in many spas, I would say the attrition rate probably at least 40% or more.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, the average membership generally, this was a couple years ago, I'm not sure what it is now, but the average life of a membership is about 3 or 4 months. So, most of my people, I only lost 10% of my people
Which
because
is
I went over the membership agreement so thoroughly. And again, this is in my program, but, I made them feel so special when they came to the spa that they were just like,
there was
why would
no
I ever
way for
cancel my
them.
membership?
I'm so glad you brought that up because that brings us into how to market and how to market the program and how to train the team to sell it because it's one thing, putting it all together and then it's a completely different ball game to, sell it. And obviously the team plays a huge role in that. So I'm very excited to learn because you've been involved and you've had so much experience with it. So I'm very excited to hear more.
Yeah, so the best way to sell a membership is I used to illustrate it to my team when I would train them. I'd say, let's pretend, I would say, to the girls, I said, what's your favorite, coffee place, obviously? Well, Starbucks, right? Okay, Starbucks. So let's say you're playing around on Groupon. I don't know if young people do that, but let's say you're playing around on Groupon and it's special, buy one drink, get one free today. You're going to send that text, that Groupon, to all your friends that that love Starbucks because you're excited that if somebody buys one, they're going to get one free. I said, so you have to think of memberships that way. Never feel scared to share something fun and exciting and good news.
Because it's not sales, right? It's just
Right,
really comes down to sharing what you really have to be excited in the first
right,
place, right?
exactly. And see, the thing is that what's wonderful about my experience is that I was a member of several places before I even started working at a membership place. So I had personal experience. I'm like, oh man, I've got to tell you about this membership. It's so amazing. And so, that's how I would train my team. I say, pretend. And I said, as an employee, you get at least the spas that I work at, many of them, they got their services for free or one service a month free. So I'd say, how excited are you when you get that facial every month? Isn't that exciting? Yeah. I go, well, all you're doing is passing that excitement on to the customer. And it's like, wouldn't it be great if you come in every month and have this treatment? So, so I really trained the front desk. I said, make a friend with that customer that walks in.
Hmm.
And I said,
I
how
like-
do you make a friend?
Yeah,
You
that's
make
probably what they would ask, right? How do you make a friend with a stranger, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I said, once you make a friend of that customer that walks in the door, then when it's time to pitch the membership, you're not selling anymore. You're saying, hey, Sally, I've got to show you about this membership program. It is so amazing. You're going to want to do it, you know? And I said, and then no one ever gets upset. Like, I can't believe that you shared that coupon with me for Starbucks. How dare you? Upset that you shared something good with them. You know, they might say, you know what, I can't do it today or, you know, whatever, but they're never going to be upset.
Anything else on selling? Any other tips you have for us? And I know we'll get to the end because you have a lot of information for
Mhm.
everyone watching this, and we'll share that. But is
Yeah.
there anything else that you can think of that's really very important when selling memberships?
Oh, there's so many things that are important to selling, but like at every spa that I've ever worked at or salon, I get a feel right when I walk in the door of how it's going to go, and the feeling that I get, and I people that's why we were talking before is automation is wonderful as far as you know, getting information out to customers, maybe getting their intake paperwork, you know, confirming their appointments. That's all great, but we should never just rely on automation because people need personal connection. They actually need somebody to reach out. And I had an experience, you know, went for a facial the other day, and it was not a membership spa. But it was everything was done through automation. I booked online, I got a confirmation through automation, I got the paperwork through automation. I had no personal contact. You know what I would have loved? I would have loved a welcome phone call or even a personalized
Some kind
welcome
of
text.
personal touch, right? It would
Yes,
make me a little kind of skeptical when there's literally no human connection at all. Make me a little skeptical about that place. Like what am I expecting? What is my experience going to be like when there's absolutely no human interaction?
yeah, yeah. And so the one, and again, I talk about this in my program, but the one thing is not only just to welcome me, hey, we saw that you booked online. It looks like you've never been here before. It looks like you're new. We're so excited to take care of you. But landmarks are so important for somebody driving to a spa for the first time. I would have loved somebody to call and say, hey, we're located blah 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 blah, because I'm on my GPS. I'm in a new town. We moved here several months ago, and I'm still figuring out. I'm on my GPS. I hope I don't miss it. I hope I'm not going to be late. I hope I don't get turned around. And so just to somebody call and say, hey, just want to let you know exactly where we're located. Because in my personal experience, so many people were late for appointments because they got lost or the GPS sent them to the wrong location.
Oh yeah, that does happen a lot. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So in fact, that was one thing I taught my team. If you see it somebody that's new and has never been here before,
Oh.
I want you to give them a call or a text and say, hey, we're so excited. We're just waiting. Just want to let you know where the landmarks are, to make sure that you get here, you know, on time.
That's a really great idea.
Yeah.
Now when it comes to tech, because I feel like that's also because how do you manage all of this, right? When somebody signs up, so the question is, what software, what technology and tools do you use to actually manage memberships? Especially, let's say at the beginning, if you have only three people, there's not a lot to manage. But as memberships, you get new members, and let's say if you have 20 or 30 or 40 members now. How do you manage all of that? That's because I know that's a huge question for many.
Oh, yeah. So I'm again at the end of the program. There's some POS systems that I will send. I have a list of POS systems, but Square, there's several, but Square actually does memberships and it'll do automatic withdrawals. So if you don't want to get into any of the spa salon software, Square is a wonderful, inexpensive route that you can go.
That's one of our clients uses.
Yes, yes, it's absolutely wonderful. Man, I also had one person that I work with. She was the most unique business that I've ever talked to. She had a huge frequency machine that you actually lay in. It's like a bed. It was her only product that she had. It was her only product and service. Was this giant, light sound frequency machine that you laid in. It was the most awesome thing. But the most clients she could have in one day would probably be 8, probably. And so she goes, do I have to invest in a POS, scheduling software, membership system? I go, no, you could do this by hand.
Oh yeah, with the volume.
Literally, you're just going to have your paper and pen, and every month you're going to go in and you're going to withdraw from their credit card.
That's funny.
But yeah, so for people that are starting out, if they wanted to, they could literally go in with the permission. Obviously, that would be on the membership contract to go in and withdraw from the account, their account, credit card, whatever. But once it starts building and building and building, they probably definitely want to invest in a POS system that is specifically designed for membership.
Yeah. The other one for managing memberships that I know of, it's actually quite pricey. So if there's someone on the call who actually has the resources, so Repeat MD, I'm not sure if you've heard of it. It's an app and it has a lot of bells and whistles, not just memberships, but memberships is one of the features they have. So basically, once it helps actually with promotion, it sends them reminders. It's got a lot of automations in place, so it's really, but like I said, it's really more for someone who has, because I believe the pricing is, if I'm not wrong, between 3 and 600 a month. So it's definitely for a big business that's larger, but it does a lot of really cool things. It sends it, like I said, it sends them automatically reminders.
Yeah.
It sends them perks and bonuses, and
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot that you can do with that app. That's a different tool for managing memberships, and obviously it charges them in there as well.
Right. Exactly.
It
Yeah.
does everything.
Yeah, I've worked with I think 4 or 5 different kinds, and they all have their quirks and their pros and their cons, but all of them are fairly, and all the ones I work with, they have a great customer service support system, absolutely wonderful. They want their clients to be happy. They want to make sure that the salon is getting all the help that they need. I've never run into a situation where I didn't have any support.
And there's no one fits all, right? Because like we said, depending on your client size, your business size, your budget, and so many other different factors, there's options available there. So it really comes down to what you're trying to do and how big your company is, and then look into different options.
Correct.
Uh, this is one I really like because, we humans, we learn a lot from mistakes, right? It'd be better to learn differently, but we learn best sometimes actually from mistakes. So,
Yeah.
what are some common mistakes to avoid when launching a membership program?
Um, there's really if there's really no mistakes, it's more just making sure you get your pricing right. Because um, if you don't get your pricing right and have to either raise your prices or lower whatever, that's not going to look good for your credibility for your
Hmm.
customer. So that is the one thing that you want to take your time on, is making sure that you have, again, you're at that sweet spot where people are signing up for it because they see the value, but you're not losing money when they, come in to use their services. The other one is not training your team. Um, so that's where I come in. I train people how to sell memberships. And also, you've got to let your team experience also the benefits of the membership too.
That's an interesting take. I never thought about that.
Yeah, so whatever you offer your um, customers as a membership, you should be allowing your employees to take advantage of. So let's pretend the members get 10% off retail. Employees should be able to get 10% off retail. Let's say members get free upgrades on certain, lower end upgrades for services. Your employees should be able to get all that too. That way, when they're talking about the membership, they can say, oh man, I love my membership. This benefit is one of my favorite things ever, you know. Um, but yes, they definitely need to be trained in how to set themselves up for success. And that's my training is how do you set your sales associates up for success to most likely be able to close a membership sale. Now, I'm going to be honest. There are people that it doesn't matter what you offer, how great your discount is, all the perks, bells and whistles. They're going to say no, no matter what. But the way I train is to give the most optimum opportunity for that customer to say, okay, well, I've got the money and I love going to this place. So why wouldn't I do the membership? you know, and I also tell people there are sometimes, I mean, I've connected with somebody so well. I just thought, oh, this person, as soon as she comes out, I'm going to sign her up, no problem.
You
And
have
then
a
she surprises
surprise.
me and goes, no, thank you. you know, and there's no rhyme or reason. You don't know what happened, but for some reason, I also say sometimes people are going through stuff that they're not going to talk about. So
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and they won't disclose why, but they have good reasons not to.
right. They might absolutely love you, love the spa, love the membership, but they're going through something that is personal and they're not going to talk about. So they're going to say, no, thank you.
So, Lori, I agree with you, and I think I do believe 100% that actually training your team, because your team will do the selling. You can market it all you want, but when it comes down to, because they are going to want to talk to someone right before they sign up. I'm guessing 90% of people will want to talk to someone instead of like just clicking on a link and buying it. So, do you mind telling us more how you help spas and med spas with trainings and sales after memberships? I know I think you have something ready, so if you want to share your screen and walk us
Yeah.
through how you can help.
So let me share my screen.
And I think I do see that with a lot of businesses, they spend so much time and resources into launching memberships, and then the team is not ready and fully trained to, and I think that's where things fall short. Yeah, I think if you're going to sell a membership, everyone has to be on board and ready to answer questions and enroll members.
Yep. Trying to get to my off. No, it's in Google Docs. So.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. This is why I have my husband help me get Google Docs up. Oh, okay. So the first thing that I have is my mini course, which is normally $36. It's an hour long, and it's basically really concentrating on the front desk and giving them some basic things to go on in order to start getting trained to sell memberships. And again, what it really is, it's not necessarily talking about sales objections because I find sales objections that's later. It's setting yourself up for success so that people are going to want to engage with you about the membership. Because if you don't have a connection with them, if
Mm,
you
yeah.
if you haven't made them fall in love with you, then they're not going to really be interested in anything you say anyway. So mind blowing effective first impressions is my very first thing that I recommend. And normally it's about an hour long training that you can share with your front desk. It's the great thing about my program is once you buy it, you can share it with your team. You can have them watch it. Let's pretend you have a new employee. You can have them sit down and watch this hour long training, which is great.
Yeah, I
Um,
think for that's a no-brainer that for $26, I think everyone should get it.
oh yeah. Yeah, and then normally it's $36, but today, and for the next 10 days, because it might take people time to watch this,
Yeah.
I brought it down to $26. And then I have the link there. And then my big thing that I really covers pretty much every aspect of how to be successful selling memberships. This is for the owners and managers to watch, and then share the parts that they want with their team for training. It's got
Okay.
sales objections. Oh, by the way, both courses have videos, so training tutorial videos. And I have my twin sister with me. She's my partner. She helped me make the videos. We worked on it together. But the reason I say is because there's some things that I talk specifically to owners about, like have incentives, have rewards, have things, goals for your team, because if you
Yes, yes. You gotta have goals because otherwise, what are you aiming towards? What are you doing if yeah, you don't. And then the other thing is getting the team hyped up, right? So I love that
yes,
you're covering that in your course.
yeah. So it's for owners. The second one, the master class, is for owners, managers, and then the parts they want to share with their team as far as training, and then also sales objections. Because I think that's the big thing that most people have a hard time with, is the sales objections. And again, there were sales objections that no matter what they said, they're not, or whatever I said, whatever, they're not going to buy. It just doesn't matter. But I do give them the tools so that they feel confident going into sale, going, oh, I know how to handle this.
It
I know what
also
to
makes
say.
the team members more comfortable, right?
Mhm.
Because you don't want to go into something without knowing what to expect, and you don't want to be uncomfortable when they're asking you questions. And then what do? Do you run to your manager and ask? You want to be prepped
Right.
and ready. So I love it that you've included all of that in there, so the team is ready to go.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. And like I said, not every sales objection thing is foolproof. You're not going to necessarily close the sale, but you're going to have tools that you can use to try to go in, like you said, with confidence, going, "Hey, I've done this one several times. I know exactly how to handle it." But today, the I'm offering it for, normally it's 527 for the master class. And the great thing about the master class, the mini course, Mind Blowing Effective First Impressions, comes with the class. So if they buy the master
Oh, it's
class,
included already. Okay.
yes, they get both. And so they definitely get that first part. That's the one that they're definitely going to share with the team. And that's today. Today it's 457, and today they get the course, if they buy it today. So it's $70 off, and they get 3 hours worth of one-on-one uh, time with me over Zoom, with themselves or their team, however they want to use that 3 hours.
That's huge. I think that's the yeah, that the value of this is huge. Being able
Mhm.
to have questions answered and spend time one
Yeah.
on one with you.
Yeah, and they can use that 3 hours for whatever they want. They can use it to just go over, like, oh, I saw this in the course. I have a question about this. Or they can use it for me to sit with their team on Zoom and train them and do role playing
Role
scenarios.
playing, yes, that's
Mhm.
very important.
Yeah. And then
Um,
go ahead.
no, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and then if they buy today, again, they're going to get $70 off, and they're going to get 3 hours worth of one-on-one or team Zoom training. They also receive 4 templates from me. They're going to receive templates for the different types of membership options that they could customize to their spa. They're going to receive the membership agreement template, and they're going to receive my top 10 quick reference tips for increasing appointments and membership sales. So it's kind of like that, they can have that at the front desk, so that, let's say the employees watch the videos for, like, oh, I forgot what I learned. Here's the top 10 that you have right at the front desk, so that they can refresh their memories whenever they need to. And they're also going to get the list of all the POS systems that are membership compatible. That's what they do, is they set themselves up for taking those automatic, or they call them electronic funds transfer payments. Now option two is just as wonderful. They're going to have 10 days to get option two. Same thing, $70 off. Get it for $457 versus the $527. But this time they only get 1 hour of one-on-one time with me. It's probably not enough time to train their Zoom team. It's more for the manager or the owner to sit and say, hey, I watched the course. I had a couple,
Ask
things
questions.
I wanted
Yeah.
to talk about. And then they also do receive the membership agreement template, and they also again receive my top 10 quick reference tips that they can have at the front desk.
Laurie, thanks so much for putting all of this together because just adding all of these assets, adding all of these together, that's, over $1,000, thousands of dollars just if you go and buy these templates separately. But if you spend hours trying to put everything together and you have so many years of experience, so it's something, we trust that if we get it, we're getting it from the right person. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for including all of this value. What about if someone wants to work one-on-one with you?
So they are required to buy the program first. They do have to buy the 527 master class. And then with that, again, with the master class, they do get 1 hour with me if they do it not today, but the 10 days. Or if they buy it after the 10 days, either way, they have to buy the master class. The reason is otherwise they're going to be spending $100 an hour with me um, when they could have just gotten a class.
Right.
I'd rather I want them to have the course because they have it forever. And anytime they hire a new employee, they have that class.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that because it's so beneficial for
Yes,
whenever they have, yeah, because as
yes,
they grow and they have new team members or they have
mhm,
turnover, yeah, it makes a lot of
yes.
sense to have
So
that
that's the
available.
requirement. And after that, and they're 1 hour with me, they also get some follow-up emails with, let's pretend they don't buy today or they don't buy after the 10 days. They do get a couple email follow-ups with me that we can discuss, a couple things with them. But after that, it is $100 an hour for my time. Now, if for some reason somebody's like, no, I want you here at my spa, and I want you to look at my spa and I want you to see what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, how we can improve. It in Arizona, it starts at $1,500 because I live in Arizona,
Yeah.
and for any other state, it starts at $3,000. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know too, because
Mhm.
especially with larger teams, it would definitely be worth it for you to be there and train them.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm one of those that like I said, when you were asking the other question, I'm one of those, as soon as I walk into a spa, I get a feel. And I know exactly what's working and what's not working. And so I have a lot of fun walking in going, oh, I really like to change this. Nice about it. I'm like, hey, I'm just going to give you some suggestions of things that are probably hindering you from closing membership sales, and some things that you could definitely do different that would actually, make it so people would want your membership.
And because there's so much to it, sometimes it could be just kind of really even like simple things that you could have in place that, don't take a lot of time but could make a huge difference. But you don't know what you don't know, right? So we
Right.
wouldn't know.
I'll give you an example. I One of the spas that I work at when I wasn't a manager is the front desk. In fact, I did an Instagram post about this. By the way, if anyone's watching, please follow me on Instagram. I'm Spa Membership Growth Coach. I give really quick 15 to 45-second tips and suggestions and advice anyway. But the front desk was so full of advertisements. So many advertisements.
You probably didn't know what to look at first. Obviously, the clutter doesn't help with
There's so much
chaos.
clutter. Yeah, and so I happened to see somebody was selling membership, which was great. But the lady kept knocking stuff onto the floor when she was trying to sign the paper. He kept going, "Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry." And I go, "It's not your fault. It's our fault. Too much stuff up here." And I just wanted to literally go and
Clean
and
everything.
knock everything off the desk, because I'm like, how can anyone concentrate on what you're saying when they're just being
There's
hit
so
by
much
so much
going
stuff,
on.
you know?
It's funny because that makes me think about all the advertising because I do online advertising, and that's pretty much what we have to break through, and that's pretty much what people see on a daily. If you scroll through social media, well, wherever you go, that's how much clutter there is everywhere.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I said, it's like, let's pretend you're trying to sell gift cards. It's, the holidays. You want to sell gift cards. I said, then you decide, is it membership or is it gift cards? If gift cards is your goal, then make it about gift cards. And that's fine. Have some stuff up there about gift cards. But you can't be advertising, buy one, get one free and the membership and refer a friend and get one free service and blah, blah, blah. Everyone's going,
That's that's what I tell clients when they come to me with 10 different promotions and they want to get clients for all of them. I said, if you're gonna do 10, we're gonna get clients for none because you
for sure.
can't, it's option overwhelmed and overwhelming. You cannot, yeah, you
Yeah.
can't get sales that way. And which you brought up a good point, and I just wanted to kind of, I guess, remind everybody that it's not just about selling memberships, but you have experience with selling gift cards and other things that are usually at spas. So that's also very, very helpful because obviously
Right.
Mother's Day is soon and then other holidays are coming. So it's very important also for the team to be trained on how to sell
Hmm.
things as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Uh, well, Rhonda, do you have anything to add?
Um, well, I'll just give you one of my experiences. I am a member at a massage place, and I do pay a monthly fee. And I'm very busy, but nobody ever reaches out to me to say, you haven't been in a while. Can we
Hmm.
help get you scheduled? And the reason I go, it's because it's a little bit cheaper than some of the others, so I don't want to give up my membership. But yeah, there is literally no customer service at all. And I haven't been in like 6 months. Now, fortunately, I am building credit. So, the next time I go, I'll say, I want a 90-minute massage and you could add on this other stuff. But nobody ever reaches out to me to say, hey, you haven't been in 6 months. Is there a reason?
Because that could be also automated. You wouldn't even have to be, even at least if you got at least a text message or an email or something reminding you that, hey, you
Hmm.
have benefits because that's a potential customer ready to.
Like, hey, you could upgrade, you could get this or that or this or that because you have so many credits. But I don't give it up because the price is good. And my work schedule is just really, really busy right now, and my work dies down in the summer, so I'll take advantage of it in the summer. But yeah, there's literally no customer service. But
Yeah.
other people, not in my situation, would like what you said. They're going to be
They
like,
just
I don't even
cancel.
use it.
Yeah.
Just let me cancel it. I don't even use it.
That's
So
why the 40 or 50% churn that attrition that Laurie was talking about.
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. Well,
Well,
yeah, but
Laurie and Rhonda, thank you so much for being here today. For anyone who's watching this, we will send a follow-up email and you'll have all the links available and the recording so you can get in touch with Laurie for any follow-up questions.